Alright everybody, hello and welcome back to another episode of Scrap Mechanic with me, Spacefish, and welcome back to a very busy me. As, well, you can halfway see, I've been very busy mining. This is like the fourth or the fifth can full of actual mined concrete and metal bars, and so far I've unfortunately been rather unlucky with what I have been doing, because if you look at this, the metal to concrete rate really isn't too good, and I would say that this has probably been one of the better hauls I have done so far. So not all too happy all around, but I've put in a bunch of works to go and get ourselves a bit more mats so we can hopefully go and get ourselves somewhere with this idea of mine of actually building ourselves a truck. So yeah, that's going to be the idea for today overall, but well, as you can see, let's see how much metal we will actually have left over. If you have a look into my inventory right here, you will see that I've already got 136 tier 2 metal blocks, and we should have a bunch more tier 1 metal in here. As you can see, we've got a bunch more ember that I farmed, and I've also farmed a bunch of wood right down here, so we should have enough for some wheels, I hope. So yeah, bunch of things crossed off the list. I don't think it's everything, but I feel we're at the point where we can at least somewhat get this going. Now, apologies in advance if today's episode does actually land a bit later than intended. If you all may know, today is the PlayStation 5 launch, and as I've already kind of talked about with a few of you all on stream, I've unfortunately missed the first two pre-orders because they were at abysmal times for me, like literally 5 AM in the morning, which, you know, man's got to sleep, man's got to work, so that didn't work quite well enough for me. But today there will apparently be one last take at pre-ordering these things, and if it's going to be there before Christmas, I'm probably going to have a go for it, so I'll probably be busy trying to spam that pre-order button on Amazon today, and well, hopefully getting my pre-order in. Let's see about that one, but fingers crossed right there. So, you know, if I'm a bit busy with that and a bit late rendering and uploading the video, sorry for that, but you know, you'll at least be aware of why that has been the case. Now, so if you all have a look at this, this is kind of what we started out with the last time, right? Nothing really spectacular, just a little bit of an idea of how wide I would actually want the loading surface of the truck to be. Now, if we kind of go here and we cross-check it, you know, we can already see that that does fit our exploration vehicle rather nicely, and I think that is probably one of the more girthier ones. I actually need to check it towards the back though, because I think it is a bit wider. Yep, exactly out towards the back. So let's kind of go and double check that. Also known as double checking, of course. That does look pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that, because of course we will have some sidewalls right here, but we should still have a little bit of wiggle room to the left and right, so that should all be very fine and dandy. So let's drive this thing out of the way so we have some room, because of course I don't think the loading surface will be this high up with the truck this low down rather with the truck most likely. So that's really more of an indication of where I want to have that in the very end. But what I would like to do instead here, and you will have to excuse my mouse, I've kind of got a little bit of a, I don't know, it's kind of a bit weird today. I have that every now and again where it just, you know, doesn't always keep the clicking going on as intended. Now, what I don't like is this. See, that optic is a bit more fitting, isn't it? Okay, so the nice thing is that we've got kind of like a 4 wide center on this thing. Now the question being though, how big is a driver's seat actually? 1, 2, 3, that's perfect. Okay, so driver's seat is going to be 4 wide, so we are going to be able to put it right in the center right here. Now what I'm going to do for the time being, not this, no, thank you mouse, I didn't really want to do that, but we will be pulling this out a good bunch pretty much for a start, and you know, this will kind of be the loading surface of course, and then well, I want to start out with a driver's seat somewhere, of course, and then kind of work my way from there, if that makes sense. Now, as I said, I think everything's going to be a bit higher up with this thing, so we're going to kind of have to see where we start this. Now, I would actually like to go and make a quick wheel here, so we've got like a bit of a comparison factor of how high up this thing will be. I also am pretty sure that I said we wanted to use the sports suspension for this thing, right? Now, doesn't look like I've actually quite got the amount of oil, unfortunately, to make all 4 pieces of sports suspension already, but we're going to make 3, so I can kind of figure that out, and we are going to start making some big wheels, for which I think I need... Did I pick up? I did pick up the tier 1 metal. I did not pick up this stuff yet, so let's pick up a bunch of the beehive stuff. Probably kind of like close to all of it, if not even more than we have. Let's see, but for the time being, I'm going to pick that up, and we are going to start making some wheels. I'm going to need another bunch. We're going to start out by making this a 4-wheeler. I'm considering to even make it a 6-wheeler, to be honest. I think that would probably even make sense. Like, which axles I would be driving, I'm not quite sure. Maybe all of them, maybe like the rear 2, but I think I would want to have like 2 axles in the rear, and then the one in the front that is of course the one that's going to be steered. So that's kind of the idea there, but as you can see, I'm a bit low on those beehives, and I already knocked down 3 trees today to even get the amount of wood for 4 wheels, so gonna have to go back and knock down a few more, but that's fine. I really just want the wheels and some of the suspension, so we have a first indication pretty much of like how high up the driver needs to be sitting, because my idea of course being that, well, you know, we've got this sort of setup going on out here, of course, right? For this thing, we would kind of want to have the wheels end off, then we would have a wheel well, and then like above that, pretty much, above the steered wheel is where I would want to start the driver's cabin. Now let's go and just be dehydrated a bit, you know, just quickly die to that. In the meanwhile, let's go and eat a bit more. I did plant a few more tomatoes in the meanwhile, didn't water those, but I did get a few other ones finished, so... Sort of doing alright on food at the moment, I feel, but as always, I mean, you can always use more food in this game, can you not? That said, I think I also need bearings. Now, I'm kind of wondering if I didn't have any flying around anymore, but this place has become so much of a mess with everything flying about the place. I'm not actually sure I've got any anywhere. It doesn't look like it. That's not a bearing. I think... No, we can't be out of bearings. There we go, 3 bearings. I knew it. Okay, so we've got bearings in here too. So let's kind of go and check it out and hopefully get a bit of an idea. We're going to raise this up a bit. And I'm going to have to see how I even want to build that suspension. Now, we could go for a similar design out here, of course. Could go for something totally different, but I don't think it makes too much sense to go for anything all too different, does it? Now, what I'm of course also missing is going to be the metal bars to actually connect that suspension up properly. So I'm going to make just a bunch of straight ones, and then I'm going to make a bunch of curved ones in a second, and we're also going to have a quick look if I can find anything. I've got these. What are these? Holder support bend. I'm just going to stick with the standard ones, I feel like. So let's place that back down. What's that actually? Encryptor holder. Yes. I feel no clue what that's for. Okay. Moving on though. Holy moly, the amount of crates I've got in here is absolutely mad. I'm still not sure if I even need those for the packaging station. It didn't really say that I did, so maybe these are just absolutely useless, but hey, at least I do have them, right? Okay, moving on. So just like generally checking, I mean, maybe I need to bring this all the way down actually. Generally checking the height of the wheels. I mean, they would of course be all the way down there. Now, kind of also what would be a question probably, I don't think I would have the undercarriage this low. I feel I've kind of made... Well, I mean, for this one, you know, I think the undercarriage being rather low has been fine, because we've got the big dampeners and everything. But with the small dampeners, I'm kind of feeling we want maybe a little bit more ground clearance with this thing, if that makes sense. So ideally, we would maybe even have the undercarriage all the way this high up. Then we would go like slightly lower with the overall body, of course. And then we would have like the loading surface sit on top of this. So I would kind of go and, you know, not place the wheel here, of course, but we would have like, I'll show you guys. I'll show you all what I mean. Explain this for 15 years doesn't make too much sense, does it? When I can just show what I mean on the actual object. So we'll do that instead, and I think I'll probably also get a bit more T2 metal into the queue already, so let's go and do that. Look at the amount of concrete in here, by the way, it's absolutely mad. I think we're probably just going to use that for like walls on our base eventually, or something to kind of keep the bots off when we have like big amounts of farming going on or something. Like, it's kind of the only thing I can imagine at the moment. I'm not sure it's going to be that, but yeah, let's see about that. So, I'm going to keep the rest of the tier 1 metal, because I think I do occasionally need that. How many? Okay, I think that's something we can start with. So, let's go to try and figure out how we're going to do this. So, how did I set it up out here always? I always set the steering up at the start here. Now, we could, of course, just set the steering up after the bend. I'm not 100% sure if that may actually have any benefits to it, as in the suspension not being as wiggly, because this bar may, you know, not be stiff enough or something. So I think that may be something for us to try. So, I mean, I'm guessing we would go and start like that, right? Then we would have kind of... God. Yeah, okay, let's do it like that. We kind of have a bearing like that, and now I'm not quite sure how long the suspension is. Oh, okay, I cannot place the suspension on a bearing, apparently, so that's good to know. This already brings it down a bit too far, doesn't it? Like, if I was gonna go... I mean, you know, we can have it 20 meters high up in the air, but... You know, we would of course have a bearing right here and then one there, and suspension is rather short. I'm not sure if the sports suspension is actually the right choice for this kind of thing, given like the amounts of load we want to put on it. Bye wheel. Okay, so like no, I think it's actually kind of decent for the height, but I'm feeling I made a mistake with the sports suspension, to be honest. I feel it should be the regular one. Like, just rethinking it, right? I mean, yes, we want to put this on the road, right? But we want to also kind of have it have a bit of wiggle room so we can hopefully put a lot of stuff onto it without the suspension compressing like crazy. I mean, I'm not 100% sure. Like, in theory... This should be a rather stiff suspension, but do we know? I don't think so. I mean, I really want to put this off the lift, but let's... I mean, it just instantly compressed, so I don't feel like it offers really a big benefit compared to the other suspension, other than it, of course, being cheap, and that looks funky as always. I think I may have just wasted a few of our materials right there, to be honest. I feel we should actually probably go for the off-road suspension instead, which does unfortunately mean that I'll need some more oil. So, yeah, kind of a bit annoying, but I'll just place a quick cut here for you all. I'll just go... quickly collect like oil. I mean, it's really not that much oil, so it'll be like 2-3 minutes for me. I'll be right back with you all. Alright, so after successfully wasting some of those mats with you all, I'm back. I've just gathered rather a bit of crude oil, a bit more than I needed probably, but just wanted to make sure that was a bad choice, but I still didn't glitch myself in somehow, so lucky me right there. But let's go and make some of that good off-road suspension, and I'm actually gonna I mean, I could kind of already take the chance and make like 6 pieces of suspension, but in that case I wouldn't have any metal left to build with, so that is a bit of an issue. But yeah, so idea being then that we probably need to raise the frame a bit more. The body will kind of stay at the same height, so like idea being we close it off right here with a wheel well pretty much, and then yeah, I don't know if there's any sort of ladders or something that you can make. I don't think there is. I think it would be awesome, like a ladder that you have to climb up to actually get into the truck, but I don't think that's a thing. So let's just take this off already. I'm gonna have to see what I do with the sports suspension. I'm sure I'll find a use eventually. Like, there will be some sort of, I don't know, sporty vehicle that I'll make. Maybe I'll eventually just make like a fun race car. Or, you know, I told you all I was gonna make that nice motorbike. So I'm sure there's gonna be applications in which I can just use that sports suspension for the time being. Just gonna, whoops, no, want that, but I'm just gonna sideline the sports suspension then. We're gonna go and have a look at it with this one instead. So what we are gonna do then is we are actually not quite sure. Okay, but we're gonna try and put it here for the time being, I suppose. Now, of course, we do need to add another piece of metal bar because we can't put the suspension right on, and that's a bit low, isn't it? Is it? Kind of feels like the same length to me, but then again, it kind of also doesn't. I'm very unsure right now. Let's go and... so, I mean, before, right, we had this, and then this was going to be the wheel well. No, I think that's actually correct. Yup, okay. That's good, that's correct. I'm happy with that. Now, of course, what we do need to do is we need to bring this out a bit further. So, I mean, given that the wheels are sitting this far down, we can just bring the wheels into the actual frame pretty much. So we don't need to have them, well, stick out of the frame and then surround them like we did there, which I honestly kind of still like that design. It's totally not finished or anything, but, you know, it's at a decent spot. We're going to move on with that later. But yeah, so idea being then, we are going to pick this apart, and I'm... Oh, no! Oh, that was not the smartest move right there. We're going to try and just fix that. Yeah? Thank you. Okay, and we're going to pick this apart. I need to kind of find out where I want to place the wheel as well, I suppose. Now, let me just check out the driver's seat again. Can I open this up real quick, please? Which button was it? Was it this one? Nope. Oh, God. Wrong button. So, this was the button here. So, the driver's seat is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 long, actually. So we'll need a driver's cabin of like maybe 8. Because we're going to have walls and stuff to it, right? So we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... Wait, what? 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah. So we could have the driver's cabin like pretty much up here. And then 1... 2, for example, right? Is that about correct? So this would be part of the wall of the driver's cabin, and that would be part of the wall of the driver's cabin. Let's just mark that. So this is kind of where my driver's cabin would go, right? That makes sense, I think. So we do theoretically not really need much of a frame down there. I mean, I guess we can... Do we want to have it sit right on the frame? I guess we can find out about that later. But I don't think so. I think we're going to put it one further up. Anyways, so this is going to be the driver's cabin. We're going to have to climb up into the driver's cabin right around here. I figure... I'm just kind of trying to find out where I put the wheel pretty much. I think sort of this placement-ish is pretty alright, actually. Now, let me think about that. If we have the driver's cabin up there and the wheel right there, if we have it, I think sort of further at the front is kind of nice, but then again, does that leave me enough space to get up the ladder? Probably not. We're going to place it right there, I think. So one block further up should be here. And then we'll just kind of have to find out how far out we need to go. I think this is kind of the outermost perimeter, right? Let's just kind of have this here as guides. That does seem like it. Okay, so this is kind of as far out as we can go. Now, it's not as far out as we do want to go, of course, because the wheels should sort of sit flush with this. So let me just kind of put a guide on here so we know where the outermost perimeter is, and then we're just going to kind of try and see. So this, I think, would be if I was not going to place suspension behind. As I am placing suspension, I think we need to place it there, and then we need to, of course, place a bearing on this. We will place a pole on it. We will place the suspension on it. We'll raise the whole thing. Is that high up? And yeah, I think it's high enough up, right? I'm always getting confused. It seems so much lower down than it actually is. Okay, does that make sense? Is that in line? I think it does. Yeah, that looks good. It's great. Okay. So that's kind of the plan then, right? Now I can, of course, get rid of the guides and everything that I made out here. Use that for building other stuff. But, of course, like, we're just taking care of the frame right now. I'm just figuring out the placement of parts, and then everything else I'll kind of start building around it as we go, I feel. So let's kind of measure how many blocks we have here. So we've got 2, and then we've got another... Is that 4, yeah? I think a unit of these is always 4. Yeah, so it's 6 blocks. So we'll put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks out here too. And I'm going to run out of bearings here in a second, but I would just like to get this started, if that makes sense. So we're just going to do it like that, and then we're going to take the suspension. Well, the wheel's going to have to wait. We're going to take the suspension just like this. Whoopsie. Going to put that thing below there, and then let's go and make some more bearings. But yeah, so that's kind of going to be the front wheels, and then I'm going to have to go and actually kind of figure out the placement of the rear wheels eventually as well. But I think that's a good start, you know, actually. Lucky. Still have some scrap metal. Just going to make a bunch of these bearings, to be honest. We're going to need a lot. But yeah, just kind of figuring out the placement. Like, this will kind of be the height of the overall frame, and then we'll kind of just come down with the body and have like a little bit of a of a wheel well going on right here, and we'll come down here eventually as well, have a little bit of a bumper and stuff. What I haven't quite figured out yet is going to be engine placement as well. I think we've kind of got 2 options for the design. Either we've got one of these flat trucks going where, you know, we could place the engine down below, I suppose, or right behind the cabin. Down below is probably more optimal just to save space and have more space to carry things back here. Or we could have one with a long hood pretty much and just place the engine below there. So let's see about that. But let me pick up a bunch of these bearings here, and let's go and quickly actually get that second wheel up front, up and running. That was not my intent. Thank you, mouse. That's not really appreciated, but okay, there we go. So, bearing right here, wheel right there. That's going to be the idea for that. And then let's actually just go and connect this up and get... Actually, I can't get rid of this bottom part just yet. Ugh, okay. That was also not the idea. Okay, but yes, so we'll just... Wait, what? Oh, why would I do that? That does not make any sense whatsoever. So, let's remove this again. Just like that. And this is the actual center, so this is where we, of course, pull out the frame for the time being. So this will be the actual frame. This will be kind of the confines of the driver's cabin, of course, going further out to the left and right, and gonna have a nice windscreen out here probably, and then well, the whole loading surface back here, 2 wheels down below, I feel, and then we'll have to figure out engine placement. But yeah, so that's the overall plan for the truck for the time being. I'm just gonna get this off the lift because I think it always despawns when I leave the game, and then well, I don't want to have the wheels in the ground when it despawns. I could probably cause some serious glitching, so we're going to keep it like this. We're going to come back to it in the next episode with even more metal and like 15 bajillion years more metal grinding done. And then we're going to see where we can proceed with this. Hopefully we're going to have a good set of wheels on this in the next episode, and we're also going to have the frame figured out, placement of the loading figured out, and like the actual engine in there wherever we are going to put that. So very much looking forward to that. I hope you all are as well. I hope you're liking where this build is going. For the time being, I'm going to end it off here for today, so I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, as always, please make sure to hit that like button down below. And if you're new around the channel and did enjoy this episode also, please consider hitting that subscribe button right down below, as well as the bell icon right next to it, to stay up to date on all the future upcoming episodes. That said, as always, everyone, thanks a lot for watching, and I hope I'll catch you in the next one. Ciao.